Hello, welcome back to the Villa View. It's time for the AVFC STATTO preview show with myself, Dan Bardell, and of course the AVFC STATTO. This would be pretty useless if he wasn't here. This show is sponsored by Luke Roper. If you want to get 20% off everything Luke have to offer, then use the code TVV20. Villa, of course, travel to Molineux on Saturday to take on Wolves in a big West Midlands derby. STATTO, how are you?
Great. I'm looking forward to the weekend's game to get back on track. So let's see if we can do it.
Yeah, big game. It will obviously be a cup final of sorts for Wolves fans. That's I don't mean it like that. I mean that they'll obviously want to win because they'll take great satisfaction in derailing our European push, as we would if it was the other way around. It does look a little bit like I've got a Wolves hoodie on, but it's a Dortmund one, so don't worry, I haven't changed my affiliation at all. Let's get the first stat up then for Aston Villa FC, and the first thing that Stato has dug up for us this week is that Aston Villa have won 4 of their 7 Premier League away games against Wolves, drawing 1 and losing 2. I guess the Premier League, so that first time we would have played them would have been 2000 and... Oh, I don't know, I've caught myself out here. Maybe 2001, 2002, or 2002, 2003?
I should start with the quiz.
Oh, we've got a quiz. We've got a quiz for that. Go on then.
Let's start with the quiz. So yeah, the 4 games that we won. I'm going to name the date.
Yeah.
And the score.
Yeah.
And you name the Villa players that scored in that game.
I might have a chance with that.
Yeah, it's only 4. So the first one, the first win was March 14th, 2004. Wolves 0, Aston Villa 4.
Okay. I can get 2 of the scorers. Hitzelsberger's definitely scored.
Yep.
Angel scored 2, I think.
He did.
And this 4th he's going to get. I'm not convinced this is. I've got 2, but I think. Is it Melberg?
It is Melberg, correct.
Pulled out from nowhere. I had all kinds of names running through him. I had a Vassell, Dublin, and then suddenly Melberg popped into my head from nowhere. Too late, Adam, right? You can't come in with Melberg after I've said it. Too late there.
Yeah. The next one, September 2010. Wolves 1, Aston Villa 2.
September 2010. Wolves 1, Villa 2. Heskey scored the winner. Albrighton.
Stuart Downing and Emma Heskey.
Oh bollocks! Albrighton got a score. Albrighton got the assisted. Now he squared it for Downing. Damn.
The next one is January 21st, 2012. So Wolves 2, Aston Villa 3.
That was 2012.
Or maybe not. 2011. Potentially. 2012.
2012. Okay. Bent penalty.
Yep.
Robbie Keane 2 worldies.
Boom. There you go. And the last one, of December 12th, 2022, I think that is. So Wolves 0, Villa 1.
El Ghazi pen.
Boom. There you go. Pretty good.
Let myself down with the Albrighton one. Albrighton got the assist for that goal, definitely. So I've got them mixed up.
To be fair, it's very impressive, I think. You can roll them off.
I got lucky. I got a bit lucky, but the Melberg popped into my head as I was about to answer someone else in the in the first instance. AVFC says, "Hope you lads know I've paused watching Married with Children for this." Is that like an old? Is that an old sitcom?
Brilliant.
What is it?
It's brilliant. Yeah.
Is it old though?
Yeah, super old. Yeah.
Really? I mean, fair play if that's what you can do on a Thursday afternoon. AVFC, absolutely brilliant for you. I highly recommend Keeping Up Appearances. That's my favourite classic British sitcom because the main character is literally my mom. That is literally exactly what my mom is like. I
thought it was your mom for a second.
No, mate. Honestly, if you'd ever met my mom, you'd be like, yeah, she is exactly the same as that character. What's the second? I mean, we haven't really talked about the original. So Villa, a decent record away at Wolves. I think it's fair to say. Let's look at the second Villa stat then that we've got this week. Thought Adam was watching Married with Children. Distracted. Aston Villa are unbeaten in their last 3 Premier League away games this season. Played at 3:00 on a Saturday, winning 2 and drawing 1. Did we have this one a few weeks ago before we played Brentford? Have I imagined that? We dig this one
maybe
out.
Something similar. Maybe something similar
Brentford,
this one.
Of course.
Yeah. So we beat Southampton as a 1-0. We beat Everton 2-0 and then drew with Brentford 1-1. The last time we went more games unbeaten away from home at this time on a Saturday was from March to November 2013 under Paul Lambert with 6. That was actually
expecting you to say Paul Lambert.
Yeah, and that was 4 wins and 2 draws, so pretty decent record.
When was the last time we lost? Saturday 3 p.m.
Away from home,
Yeah,
Newcastle 4-0.
dark days. Literally just reading about that game. I was just reading something on Football 365, and they mentioned that game. They basically ranked all the managers so far this season to anyone any Premier League game. I think Aaron Danks was like 16th for winning one and losing one. I think it was out of 40. There'd been 40 Premier League managers.
Yeah.
Emery was number one.
Was it?
According to Football 365, yeah, it's a good thing to go and read on Football 365 if you like that kind of thing, if that's your bag. Let's look at our opponents then for this weekend, of course. Wolverhampton Wanderers. Wolves have won their last 3 Premier League games at home, keeping a clean sheet in all 3 of those games. The home form's been pretty good, hasn't it, under Lopetegui? They struggle a bit away from home, obviously getting absolutely trounced at Brighton last week, but at home generally, it's probably been home form that's ended up keeping them up, I would say.
Yeah, he's changed some, hasn't he, since he's come in. So 3 games in a row, at home keeping a clean sheet. So they beat Chelsea, which isn't hard to do. It's 1-0.
That's my favourite goal of the season. Anyway, apart from Villa, that's my favourite goal that anyone has scored this season. That Nunez goal, unbelievable goal that was. That's my favourite goal this season.
Was it? And then
Premier League, yeah.
And then they beat Brentford 2-0 and Crystal Palace 2-0. It's only the second time that Wolves have won 3 home games consecutively in the competition, doing it in 2021 as well. They've never won 4 home Premier League games on the bounce. They last won 4 in a row in the top flight in 1975.
Long time ago.
Long time ago.
Really long time ago.
Yeah.
Even Steve Bull hadn't played for Wolves yet, but by that point in 1975.
No.
Okay.
So
they've done okay, haven't they? They've done okay at home recently.
Yeah, they're pretty safe now, right? You'd say.
Yeah, they won't go
the drop. Yeah.
Although I do the Athletics football podcast with Tim Spears every Friday, and he even when Wolves didn't look safe, he was still saying Wolves are fine. Wolves will be safe. Right, so I bow down to his superior knowledge, getting that right. I mean, yeah, they would take a big disaster. I mean, I think it's almost impossible for them to go down there safe. But this is a big game for them. Like I said at the start, they'll take massive pride if they manage to beat us. And it feels like I feel like we've struggled there. I know the stats say otherwise, but I feel like we've not had a great time there. It feels like Ruben Neves scores against us every single time we play there. I know we won that one game in lockdown when there was no fans, but when fans have been there, we haven't won there, have we? Especially in the Premier League and the Championship when we were down there. I don't remember us winning.
No, Al Ghazi, I scored, didn't he? There was no fans in there.
Yeah, we've lost all the others. We lost in the Championship a couple of times.
Yeah. I don't have Championship stats up right now.
We definitely lost under Steve Bruce. 100%. We lost 2-0.
Yeah, let me just get it. You can feel for 2 seconds and I've got it.
I mean, I can try that. Yeah, we definitely we had that game as well where we had no Tom Heaton and then Jed Steer came and then got injured in the first 15 minutes and Neil had to come on. So we were down to our third choice keeper for that game. I think Trezeguet scored a late consolation for us. We lost 2. We haven't been great there. Last season was a really bad game. I remember under Steven Gerrard, we got off to an awful start. Lost 2-1. Watkins pulled a penalty back.
Yep.
I think for us to make it 2-1. But we seem to go 2-0 down there quite a lot, is what I've noticed.
Yeah, so in the Championship, we only played them twice away from home and lost 1-0 and 2-0. The only win we had against them in the Championship was at home, the 4-1, with Bjarnason scoring that lovely one.
I want to say 3 of the last 4 away at Wolves, we've gone 2-0 down. Is that right? Really testing your quick spreadsheet skills there.
I know. Wolves.
I think that's right.
I've got a filter on there that doesn't look right.
Okay. I think 3 of the
stress
last 4
levels.
we've gone 2-0 down.
Maybe.
We've ended up losing those games, obviously, as well. Have we got another Wolves stat? I can't remember where we are.
There
we
go.
Are you still looking? You still looking? Oh, we have got another one. Here we go. Oh, we're back. What have you got? Have you found it?
No.
Oh, useless. You are absolutely useless.
I know.
Only Everton and Southampton have scored less Premier League goals this season than Wolves. I mean, there was a time when a striker hadn't scored for Wolves for for an absolute eternity. I don't know why though. I think it is just a hangover from just Villa in general, but I expect Diego Costa will play up front, and largely he's been absolutely rubbish for Wolves.
Yeah.
I just feel like someone like that is more likely to score against us than someone that's good. Even now, I still feel this for some reason. Like I say, I think it's probably a hangover from Villa of old. But they have got some good players, but they need to get some goals in that team. They'll be in the market for a striker in the summer for sure, because since Jimenez got his awful injury and his goals haven't been
the same.
Yeah, they haven't been. He hasn't had the same productivity since that injury, which is, probably to be expected. It's amazing that he's back playing football at all after that horrible injury, and I'm glad that he is. But they need a reliable goal scorer, because at times when I watch them, they're very good until they come up to the penalty area. Wolves.
Yeah, just a quick one before we move on to that one. Ruben Neves has scored twice against Villa in his history.
One of them was a free kick. I think they might both have been free kicks, actually. One of them a massive deflection last season. Is this at Wolves or
no? Total.
Yeah, he scored 2 free kicks against us. I think. I'm not convinced that's right, actually. Adam Wright will know if he's watching. I'm not 100% sure on that, but he's definitely scored a couple of goals against us anyway, as you've just confirmed. But yeah, Wolves low scorers.
Yeah, only Ruben Neves and Daniel Podence have more than 5 Premier League goals this season for Wolves. They've both got 6. So 5 of Ruben Neves' Premier League goals this season for Wolves have been scored at Molineux. As with no other Wolves player netting more than twice at home this season. So yeah, that's their big issue, scoring goals.
I reckon. I've completely forgotten what I was going to say. I was distracted by the comments. I'm getting bookies I've been thrown at me as well by the producer at the same time. Costa odds 17 to 10 to score or assist. I won't be getting on that.
Yeah, I'll save you money.
I never bet against Villa anyway. I just can't bring myself to ever do that. What was I going to say? So obviously we're saying you're saying no one's got more than 5 goals except for who you just said.
Yeah.
But after Watkins, has anyone got over 5 goals for us?
Yeah, Danny Ings.
So no one currently at the club's got more than 5.
And Buendía's got 5.
Buendía's got 5. Bang
and
on.
Then Louise, Louise, Ramsey, and Bailey have 4.
Okay, so if we hadn't had Watkins hit this real purple patch, we were low scorers, weren't we? Tom's asking how many goals Costa has had this season. He has just scored the one, and actually, let's be glad that he's got that goal, because then I would be even more worried if he hadn't scored for Wolves yet this season. That would be an even greater concern going into the game at the weekend. Let's finish as ever with peak Villa then. What have we got this week, Dale? What have you found for us? Aston Villa are winless in their last 4 Premier League games against Wolves, drawing 2 and losing 2. A little bit of a bogey side, aren't they? Since that massive throwaway at Villa Park under Dean Smith, which completely turned our season at that point, and Dean Smith's Villa career, they have become a bit of a bogey side.
Not been crazy the last 4 games.
Not the side you want to be a bogey side either, really.
No, it's not. We drew 0-0 with them at Villa Park in 2021, and then next season we threw it away 3-2. And then last season they beat us 2-1 at Molineux, and we drew 1-1 with them at Villa Park. With Danny Ings went to the crowd, didn't he? He was a bit angry that he wasn't starting, or went to the crowd and did that.
What?
Yeah.
He promptly left after that as well.
He sure did, yeah. And a couple of bonus ones for you here. So Unai Emery has never beaten Wolves in the Premier League. Played them 4 times.
When you started that sentence, it was either going to be he's never lost to them or he's never beaten them. Of course, it was never beaten.
He's never beaten them. So he's drawn 3 and lost 1. Julian Lopetegui and Unai Emery have drawn their last 3 fixtures against each other, all by the same 1-1 scoreline. And Unai Emery has only ever won one of his 6 games against the teams managed by Julian Lopetegui. Not a great record.
I think smart money would probably be on a draw then, for hearing what everything you've just said. But
it's not what Villa need, though, is it?
No, we go
at this moment.
We go there and try and win. This is very, very different. They're probably taking charge of teams at a similar level, I would say. In the main, I know Lopetegui managed. Did he manage Real Madrid for a bit? If I completely imagined that. Don't know whether they actually ever played against each other, but they've managed similar level teams, similar stature teams in Spain. Obviously, Unai Emery is managing a far bigger team in England than Lopetegui is at the moment. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. It's kind of a decent game to have in that they're obviously not doing great, but it will be tough because the Wolves fans will be up for it and they'll create a real good atmosphere at Molineux on Saturday. I'm absolutely certain of that. But the Villa fans will be in fine voice away from home, as they always are. They did get bashed last week at Brighton. I watched that.
Yeah.
Just thinking, man, maybe Wolves will do us a favour. They absolutely did not. They did completely the opposite. One of the worst displays I've seen from an individual team in the Premier League this season. It was really, really, really bad. So their fans the team's gonna need a reaction. But I don't think they're the Wolves of old. They're not as defensively solid as they have been over the years either. They're not massive goal scorers as we've already discovered. So if you look at it from a stats perspective, Villa should be the favourite, shouldn't they? And as CC saying in the comments, we do love breaking the stats. Time to beat those. We need a win, and we need the lads to show some energy, which they'll need to beat Wolves, as they'll be up for it too. That's perfectly put by CC in the live comments. Anything else, Stato? Any other little pearls for us?
What have I got? Quick look. As again, Ollie Watkins needs 2 goals to break Dwight York's away goal record, or to equal it, sorry. To fair, like as of the current 20 Premier League sides, Wolves are the lowest win rate in games in May.
I mean, how on earth have you come up with that?
That wasn't one of mine.
I dread to think where you've come up with that from. Someone's put 20p in the producer today as well. He keeps bombarding me with saying Unai Emery was at PSG and Arsenal when Lopetegui was at Madrid, so they never actually faced each other. So when he was Madrid manager, so what I said about them managing clubs at a similar stature when they were playing against each other in La Liga is turns out to be true, more by luck from me than judgment. I think that does us, Dale. Thanks ever so much for joining me. Always been a pleasure to talk to you and go through the weird and wonderful world of AVFC STATTO ahead of a game. You're doing a watch along on your own channel on Saturday, are you?
Yeah, I'll be hungover for it, but I'll be there.
Okay, I won't be watching you watch along. I'll be watching the game myself.
Cheers, Dan.
I suspect, but yeah, I've mentioned it. That's all. That's all I can do. Drawing people's attention to it now. They know it's there. That's all I can do. Of course, make sure you're following AVFC STATTO on Twitter as well, as he comes up with even more stuff than what you've seen on this show. If you've enjoyed the video, give it a like and leave a comment below, and please subscribe to the Villa View with your post notifications on as well. Be back with a match preview tomorrow. As yet, I don't know who I'm doing it with because I completely forgot to sort it out until about an hour ago. So I'll try and get that sorted so we know when we're on tomorrow. I imagine it will be tomorrow afternoon at some point, I would think. Thanks to those that have joined in live on the chat. Always enjoy it. Always appreciate it. Let's go up the Villa.
Up the Villa.